How's it going, people? I'm Zephyros, and welcome back to my channel. So today's video is going to be a bit of a rant, okay? I really didn't want to do this kind of video, but there's just a couple of things that I just can't ignore, and I need to talk about them. And I'll be really curious to actually just get all of your opinions as well. This video, I'm actually going to be sending it to the devs, because these things that I'm going to be talking about, I think they need to be aware. They need to know how we're feeling, the frustrations we're feeling as well. So, with that all being said, let's get into it. So, what prompted this video was a situation that a couple of my guildmates have come up with, and more of us are now facing this issue, which I'll kind of talk about in a moment. But I think it's really important to stress, right? For me, I really don't want to be making these kind of like negative videos. When I started my kind of content creation journey, I wanted to kind of have a really positive impact on the community and be able to kind of give something back and help people. Um, so I always wanted to try and put out positive content, but it's getting to the point where it's just so difficult to ignore these things. So the first thing that I want to talk about is something that just kind of caught us. It blindsided us basically. We had no idea that this limit existed, right? But a guildmate of mine was doing his MALRIK trial stones yesterday and tried to do his next one and got flashed up this notification. You have reached this month's trial limit. You can attempt 200 trials per month, right? So couple of issues with this, right? Just worth noting, he hit that limit, and then since then we've had more and more of our guildmates hitting this limit. We're all going to start hitting this so quickly, right? Um, so a couple of things wrong with that. First thing, why is there a limit in the first place? What is there to gain from having that limit? It makes no sense, right? Why are you hamstringing the people who are actually the most active players in your game, right? There is no hiding, right, that in Mad we farm like madmen, right? We farm a lot. Um, I had max stat gold, 4.2 billion before this War of Fates thing came in, and I've just basically dumped close to 3 billion gold now. Um, and that's quite normal in Mad, right? So we farm a lot. So we do pick up these these trial stones, these keystones, sorry, quite often. But to hit the limit that you've set halfway through the month, what's the point? It doesn't make sense to me. Like you're just restricting it for no reason, right? So that's the first thing. Why restrict it? But the second thing, if you're going to put a limit, right? Why have you not said there is a limit? We had no clue. It has not been mentioned anywhere. I've gone back and I've looked, right? There is no mention of there being a limit anywhere. So my guildmates who have now hit this limit, they're stuck, right? Because if they farm and they pick up more keystones, they're not getting them. Because once they hit that limit of 50, they're done. I haven't actually hit the limit yet, but I'm going to. I know I'm going to if I do these things here. These just complete trash keystones here. The level 1, level 2 keystones. I'm going to hit the limit once I do those. The reason I've not hit it is because I've actually been saving a lot of my level 4s for weeks now. I've been saving my level 4s, just because in the hope, just hoping that they improve the rewards, because that's going to be the next thing I talk about. The rewards, dog shit. The rewards are awful, right? Absolutely awful for the effort required with these trial stones, right? So that's why I haven't done them. I've done my highest level ones. Yeah, I've done a few of them, but I've just not bothered with these ones in the hope that things change. But if I had done those, and then when I do these, I'm certain I'm going to hit the limit. I'm so certain. But again, I don't know for sure because there's nowhere to check. How do I know? How do I know if I'm on 199, right? And I do this next level one, and suddenly I'm capped, right? I've got 29 out of 50, so I pick 21 up, 21 more keystones up. I'm done, though. Right, for the next month, dead content now. Can't do it. Right, it just doesn't make sense, right? So that you need to lift that like ASAP. It's just so unfair on the people who have hit that limit now because you didn't even give them a heads up. They had no way of knowing, right? So that's problem one. Next issue, let's go into the rewards, right? The end game rewards are getting so frustrating, right? Let's forget the MALRIK's keystones for a second. Let's just go into Abyss 1. Abyss 1 is difficult content, right? Only like real end game players can actually hit and one hit the this chest, this top chest, right? So those kind of players already have really good gear and really good heroes, specific heroes at good awakenings. So knowing that, why are 5-star psychic powers a reward in this chest? Why are shards for 5-star psychic powers a reward in this chest? It's just unbelievable that these are rewards in the highest chest in the game from Guild Boss. Same thing with epic hero soulstones, right? Who needs epic hero soulstones at this stage of the game when you're hitting the top chest of Abyss 1? Why are you putting that in there? It doesn't make sense. Like, replace that with more shards of more ancient summoning crystal shards, or put more legendary awakening tokens, or even I wouldn't even mind. Like, I've got so many extra skill crystals, but even that I feel like would be more useful than this crap here. No one's going to use that, or just make it so that the recasting hammers drop more frequently. Right, make them good rewards, or even just these kind of things. All of these are fine, right? Every time I get this, like I've had in the last 3 days, I've had 3 epic hero solstices. I don't care about them. Like any end game player has got all their epic heroes A5, right? Let's go into my storage, right? 892 psychic powers. 892. What am I going to do with another one? Why is this in your chest for the top chest, right? Same thing with these epic hero souls. 81 epic hero soul stones. You don't even release epic heroes anymore. Like you hardly ever release them, right? So I'm fine with you taking that out of the chest. Take it out. It's just unnecessary. Like it just screams that the developers are out of touch with their game. They don't understand where players are when they reach these chests. And so they're just putting in these stupid rewards. I've said it before in terms of guild versus guild as well. When you look at the rewards, like putting in guild XP, what? It's like season rewards, putting in again guild XP in the top chests. It doesn't make sense. Just you need to get a grip on this like soon, because what scares me is that I've been through a lot of games, right? And there always comes this point in a game's life where the end game players start to just there starts to become this overall feeling of just constantly being let down, and it's really hard to escape that feeling when it becomes kind of long standing. And then players just start leaving. Players start to get fed up, and one by one it starts to snowball, and everyone drops off, and the game just kind of fades into obscurity after that. And it's really starting to feel that way with Watcher of Realms. I want Watcher of Realms to do really well. I want to keep playing this game. But things like this, like just constantly getting these epic hero soul stones and the psychic powers from top chests, it's just so frustrating. And then we go into the MALRIKs. I mean, level four, level four keystones are hard, right? They are not easy. So to get the top chests, these two chests here, right? What? It's so difficult to get these chests. Why? Why is this a ripcord? From the top chest, from a red chest, right? Why are you giving me things that I can get from a level one, right? I can get those from a level one. This has not been. How long has this been out? This hasn't been out for that long. I've already got 480 of them. I don't use them because I don't need them, right? I have guildmates who are like 1k plus in these as well, right? Because once you start using the better augmentation gems, so these ones here, these are just redundant. These ones are redundant once you start using these. Once you put them on your main artifacts, it's just these are capped out. You can't use them, right? All the other rewards, it's fine. It's fine. I don't mind getting this or this. Even this, it's not great, but that I get, right? This and this just complete and utter dog shit for the effort required to finish one of these and for how rare they are. It's so hard to get these level 4 mythic trials. Right? They're so rare. And this brings me on to my next point. The devs are 100% doing shadow nerfs. 100%. There is not a shadow of doubt in my mind, right? And this goes across certain things. So within Mad, right? Because we all farm so much, we have a large kind of sample, really large sample size when it comes to farming, right? And then when I talk to other guild leaders and other guild members from the top guilds, and I start to hear the same thing from them that we've been experiencing, the sample size gets even bigger, and we know it's a trend, right? And the noticeable trend, the two most noticeable trends that we've all picked up on are first, the nerf to soulstone drop rates, right? In the guild boss abyss chests, right? When they first came out, the you would get a few kind of soulstones dropping within your guild every week, right? It just happened. All of the guilds noticed this. And about the time that the pack came out with the soulstones, I think maybe like a couple of weeks before that, suddenly silence. No one was getting soulstones anymore, and it seemed pretty clear that they had shadow nerfed the drop rates of soulstones. Right, that is predatory behavior. Right, it's this disgusting behavior if that's actually what's happened. Right, it's absolutely disgusting behavior, creating that scarcity to then try and sell your pack again. So try and sell your packs, right? Kind of trying to drive that demand for it. Disgusting behavior if you shadow nerfed it, right? And then the same thing when it comes to I talk about the rarity, and I actually pulled one. Sod's Law, right? That is the first one I've pulled in weeks, right? Before that, it's just been level one, level two. I can't believe in my recording that's just happened, right? It's the streamer's luck, I guess. But it is just constant level ones, level twos, right? When it comes to, I'm just bulk doing it just because of that event, which I'm just burning my coins just so I can. Oh, not bad. Just so I can actually max out my points in that event that's happening right now, the global event. But it's yeah, mostly. Sorry, I got distracted there. Mostly level ones, level twos, right? Before it used to be a much better thing. Like level threes, hardly drop. I think in the last 2 weeks, I've had two level three trials. To give you some perspective, right? I constantly farm. So if we go into that event, so the War of Fates, I'm currently rank one, right? So that all of those points are from me farming and just using the 4.2 billion gold I had and just like I just did there, leveling everything and they're just selling it off, right? So with me farming as much as I do, and with most of my fellow guildmates farming at the same level, if not more, we have all noticed, right? We do not get level fours, level three trial stones anywhere near as frequently as we were before. So there has definitely been a shallow nerf to the drop rates of these things. So the issue I have is there's just a complete lack of transparency when it comes to the drop rates of rewards and of keystones and things like that. If you're going to, the only reason you will not disclose these things is if you're doing dodgy behavior behind the scenes. If you don't want us to know what what the rates are, what the drop rates are. I've played countless gachas, right? Countless gacha games. And this is one of the only ones that does not say drop rates. That does not say you have X chance of receiving this, X chance of receiving that. It's not that difficult to put that into the chests, right? Just put a little eye icon, information icon, click on it. These are your rates, right? That way you remove any obscurity and you remove a lot of this kind of ill feeling where we feel like we're being hard done because we don't have confidence that you're being completely upfront about your rates, right? It's happened in the past with things like drop rates, with the whole drop rates of the legendaries where you had set fixed drop rates for players that would be reset if you did certain things. Do you remember that? Yeah, because we do. All the players who have been around for a long time, we remember, right? And what that means is that we wouldn't put it past the developers now to do things like that behind our backs. So disclose this information because otherwise you're just going to get a player base who are getting more and more frustrated when we get hard done by, right? Next thing on my list of things that are just really ticking me off, right? So I've just shown you how much I farm, right? I'm going to sell this off just to see if I got any streamer luck. I did not. Because I farm so much, I have sold a ton, a ton of ancient gear, right? An absolute ton of ancient gear. So as you can imagine, you would expect I should have got some ancient recasting hammer shards, right? Because I've sold so much. Zero. Zero shards for all of the ancient gear I've sold. I've lost. I don't know how much ancient gear I've sold. It'll be in the hundreds, right? If not thousands, it will be in the hundreds at the very least of ancient gear that I have sold, right? And I have not had a single shard. We need 30 of them. How do you think that is acceptable? Right. So if I go into the gear enhancement, so if these things here, yeah. How do you think it's acceptable? Like, how is that realistic? We're talking about some of the biggest krakens in this game have still not managed to complete an advanced recast. How do you expect your average player or your free-to-play player to ever get one of these? Ever. Not. I'm not talking about in a year's time. I'm talking about ever. They will never get one. After so much farming, I have not had a single shard. Now multiply that by 30. How do you expect them to get it? It's just, do you? I shouldn't need to go. I shouldn't need to explain this stuff, right? It's as developers, do you not understand your own game? If you don't, fine, you don't, right? But accept your limitations and reach out to the people who do understand your game, right? One of the biggest gripes I have is how selective the developers are with the test server. I asked the test server so long ago, right? And obviously didn't get it. So you're as developers, you're obviously really selective with who you give test server to. Fair enough. That's fine. You obviously really trust the people who you give it to, and you really respect their opinions and value their opinions. So why don't you involve them in these decisions? When you're making this content, why don't you just shoot it across to them and say, look, this is the idea for the next kind of batch of updates. Any feedback? These are some of the most involved players in the game, right? They would have told you psychic rewards in top chest is a stupid idea. They would have told you epic hero soulstones in top chest is a stupid idea. I would have told you, right? So it's why are you not reaching out to them and asking them? So I think there just needs to be more transparency, and you need to involve the players more. Create a Discord group for content creators or for specific players who are more involved and whose opinions you would actually like to hear, and shoot them across this stuff. Make them sign an NDA. Make them sign um, a non-disclosure agreement to say that if you shoot these ideas across to them, they will not disclose that information to anyone or leak that to anyone else. Right? That's fine. Right? Because the people who have already got access to test server, they've already done that. They should have already done that to stop them leaking. Right? Leaking what they're not allowed to kind of talk about. Just get that done. It's been 2 years now. Just get it done. People have been asking for this for so long, right? And so this brings me on to my final point. Now, this was already addressed in the developers' responses, but I just think the response just was not satisfactory, in my opinion, which is why I'm going to mention it again. The cap to stamina, right? Where if I go above this point here, it becomes more expensive. So every bit of stamina I buy up until this point is 60, right? Once you get past this point, past here, it should go up to 1,200. It goes to 1,220, and then it gets significantly more expensive as you go up, right? So they brought this cap in, and then they also, in the shop, put a cap here where this used to be 99. Every day you could buy 10 pots. You could buy 99. They've reduced that down to 10, massively, massively reducing what you can do with your diamonds, right? I hate that update. I hate, hate, hate that update. And it's not just me. Everybody in all of the top guilds, and I don't even know, probably even in the lower guilds, hate that decision. Right? Don't don't be in denial about what people feel about that. They hate it. You have basically just really restricted what we can do with that diamond. As a content creator, we get diamonds, right? To say thank you for putting content out on the game and spreading awareness of the game, we get diamonds for our content. So one, even your content creators, you've now directly nerfed the the kind of rewards that we get for our content. Two, all your free to play players, all your low spenders, all your high spenders who collect up their diamonds and sometimes use them for buying stamina, you've now restricted how much stamina they can use, right? You're forcing them to use it on other things that they don't want to use it on, right? You're forcing them to use it on summons. I don't buy summons. I don't buy summons with my energy, with my diamonds. I buy energy because farming is what I need. I don't need more heroes. Look, I've got so many of my heroes at A5, right? I don't need. I don't want to get more summoning crystals. I want energy. So nerfing it is just pissing off your player base. That's all you've done. You've just pissed off your player base, right? The problem you have, problem that's the problem that I find, right, is I'm not going to speak on behalf of the entire community now because I can't do justice to their kind of feelings. I'm going to talk about what I felt with this game. When I started playing this game 2 years ago, it was such a positive atmosphere. It felt like the developers made all of their decisions with the player base in mind. And it was a really good kind of really positive feeling around the game. And what's happened is, from my perspective, in the last kind of, I'd say maybe 6, 7 months, maybe a bit longer, it hasn't felt like that. It feels like the game is slowly losing its soul. Um, and the decisions that are being made are not being made with the player base in mind. It's becoming it's starting to feel like much more of a kind of a money grab situation. Um, and this isn't something that's kind of just a feeling by myself. This is a feeling that is kind of a general feeling, a general vibe that I get from everybody I talk to about this game. Where so many people kind of like, I don't know what it is. It feels like something is missing. It feels like something has gone from the game, and that's the best way that I can describe it. It's that take this 2 year anniversary, right? People didn't walk away from this 2 year anniversary feeling positive, feeling really happy. People walked away from this anniversary feeling slighted. People felt like it was a cop out event. Like there was nothing substantial given. Like the whole point of anniversary events is you're meant to be celebrating the game and the community that makes the game. Like the community that without the player base, the game is nothing, right? The anniversary events, like you play any other game, right? The anniversary events, it's meant to be a way to say thank you for sticking with us. This anniversary was not a thank you. The anniversary felt more like a right, we're going to milk this for every dollar we can, and that's it. That's what it felt like, right? Um, and unfortunately, it's created this situation where some of the biggest krakens, some of the biggest whales in the game, myself included, have just decided to say, I'm not gonna, I'm not gonna get those Elowin packs that I used to get 6 times a week. I'm not gonna get those ancient packs that I used to get every week or every other week when they came about. I'm not gonna get them because you're taking the piss. That's what it feels like, right? Every bit of feedback I've ever heard about the developers when people have spoken to them in person, it's always been really positive. It's always been really good. So I'd like to think that the developers will hear this and maybe just take a step back and think, right, maybe we do need to try and go back to how we were before, because that was a recipe, a formula that worked. Right now, there would have been a bump from the anniversary. Obviously, they've done a good bit of marketing and things like that. There would have been a bit of a bump, but with the general atmosphere, especially around the end game player base right now, it's I worry for the game. I worry for the game. So I hope I don't need to make another video like this. I really, really don't want to. Um, I really want to be able to put out more positive content. I want to sing the praises of the game. I want to sing the praises of the developers. I want to give them credit when credit is due, right? But it just feels like it's getting harder and harder to do. So yeah, that's my opinion on these things. Obviously, if you have your own comments, if you have your own beliefs, and if you disagree with some of the things I've said, comment below. I always do try and reply to most of my comments and where I can. So yeah, reach out to me on Discord, reach out to me on my comments below, and let me know what you think. Right. Until the next video, guys. Stay safe and stay blessed.